It works. Okay, so we are live. We already have a couple of comments. So hi all. Finally we are back, and today it's like another amazing session for sure because I saw a deck, a lot of insights. So let's say hi to everybody.
Hello.
Lila, hello. Irina, hello. Chelsea, hi. Ron, nice to see you. Fabio, it's amazing to see you as well. Um, yeah, it's been a long time
The
since
last
our
step.
last. It works. Yeah, everything is okay. Hey, hey. So as
I'm
usual,
going to look
we
at the
will
chat
wait
too.
for a couple of minutes for. Yeah, we'll wait for slightly more people to join us. Um, yeah. So while we are waiting, please share where do you join from and what do you expect from this session? Have you missed our live sessions as well? And also, as always, we have a couple of questions regarding our recording. So it is available after the live session ends. So you will always be able to access it. And in the email, we will also send some resources, like useful resources from Kyle. And yeah, stay tuned. And we have more people who say hi to us. So hello, hi David. Dwayne, amazing to see
Hello.
you. Yeah. So Kyle, in a couple of minutes we will start. I will share like a super short story how has this happened, I believe, and like a tiny background of our meeting, how we found each other, I would say. But you know that xTiles is always the right answer. UK, England. That's nice. Thank you. Hello, Willow. Hello. Thank you so much for your comment. I also missed you guys a lot, but I was lucky to meet some of you in person. So me and Max, we went to Canada for like a couple of weeks ago, and we met like a lot of amazing people, by the way. So it was Marcela, Krija, Monica, Michelle. So if somebody with us today, please say hi, but they always say hi. So yeah. Okay, okay. Okay, so it's like 3 minutes we are in. I believe. Hello, Hawaii. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I believe we
Hello.
can start. And just a couple of words regarding how did I meet Kyle. So as you know, we in xTiles we constantly look for some feedback from the users, like real users who use xTiles, like a lot of them, but we need a lot of opinions as well and a lot of feedback. So I was looking for some feedback, and Kyle booked a meeting, and he said like he described how he uses xtiles for his personal needs, and he also mentioned that he's not just a user but he's a therapist and strictly focused on ADHD and many more. And I was like, well, it is something that could be super interesting for our audience, to our users, so let's do a live session. And he said like, let's do it. And it was nice. So it was super simple to do, and I also very much appreciate Kyle's time and his desire to share his, like background, his knowledge, and everything. So thank you so much, Kyle. And I believe we can move to the next slide. A couple of minutes of my speech, and I'm done. And Kyle will describe his path and many more. Hello. Hi. A lot of people today. Edmonton. Yeah, I've been to Calgary, by the way, so it's not so far from Edmonton. Hello. And yeah, We have 4 sections for today's live session. I believe it will be like an hour long, and the 3 parts will be covered by Kyle, so I will not be talking that much as I do right now. And yeah, so Kyle will tell something about himself. He will cover a lot of amazing insights regarding ADHD. And yeah, and how it works with xTiles. So let's start. Kyle,
Cool. Thank you.
all the spotlight on you. So yeah.
Awesome. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay, and I'm glad everyone's joining from everywhere across the world. I feel very honored to be here.
Texas, by the
I'm
way.
in
Yeah.
I'm in Austin, Texas right now, and I am going to share a little bit more about me before I jump into one of my hyper focuses, which is ADHD itself. So about who I am. My name's Kyle. I'm a neuroaffirming individual and couples therapist. I'm an LMFT, which stands for Licensed Marriage and Family Therapist. I'm an associate. This means I'm still being supervised, working towards 3,000 hours of practice. But I own my own private practice. And it's called the Rooted Brain Therapy. I'm also a partner in a neurodiverse relationship. I'm an ADHDer. My partner is autistic, and that creates some sensory difficulties for us, but it's also part of my work as a couples therapist. 99% of my couples are neurodiverse as well, or they might have different neurotypes, maybe an ADHDer and someone who's neurotypical, or autistic and dyslexic, or neurotypical and sensory processing disorder. There's lots of different constellations. But the thing I'm most proud of and excited about today is showing my pride in being an ADHDer myself and working towards destigmatizing how our brains work. Personally, some of the things I really like, so you can get to know me a little bit better. I love deep strategy board games. My favorite is 12 hours long, and I am so laser focused the whole time. It would be so hard to look at that and be like, why is he struggling to do the laundry? But I'll get into that in a little bit. I also love disc golfing, being outside, Lego sets, 3D printing, especially 3D printing fidgets for my office and sharing that with clients. I love my cats, my partner, and then also watching reality TV and hypothesizing and commenting on every little micro interaction. That is so fun for me. So that's a little bit about me here. Now, I'm going to start with this video, which I find super helpful. The point I really want to drive home today is that your brain isn't broken. It's responding to a world that may not have known how to meet it. So I'm going to let Matthias here take it away.
People think neurodivergence is I don't like small talk. I'm rigid. I am bad at reciprocal social interaction. Like, I just can't see those things. That just doesn't click for me, and that's not true. It's not that you take in too little information. It's that you take in too much. Like, you think about film. Like, a film that's meant to take pictures of the stars at night, it's very sensitive, right? It's meant to catch the nuances in the night sky. If you took that same film to the lake and you were taking photos of the daylight, it'd be totally blown out. You'd see nothing. It would just be white, right? And you could say, well, this camera doesn't pick up the nuances. It doesn't pick up any of the details. This is faulty film, but that would be to totally misunderstand. This film wasn't meant for the lake. It was meant for the night sky, and it can catch particularities. It can pick up on forms that other film will totally miss. What would it look like in our culture if we understood that? That neurodivergent brains actually can pick up forms and nuances. They hold perspectives that we need.
3 things you need to know.
We don't need to. Let me see if I can get out of this. Hold on.
Yeah, and by the way,
Next
we
time I'm
have
not gonna make it. There we go.
more
Alright.
people from all the places around the states. Willow from Colorado, Denton, Austin, Texas, Phoenix.
I'm just another awesome person and an audience.
Yeah.
Welcome. Also, the comments at the moment, if something does pop a question, just let me know because I can't see it. Or I can
Yeah, I will tell
save
you.
comments or questions for the end. I'd love to. Again, my goals here is to shift our perspective on what ADHD looks like, feels like, and how we internalize our own experience of it. I'm talking as an ADHDer here, but also someone who works with ADHDers, where I kind of see people get stuck. There's this societal understanding that if I really cared about this thing, I would do it. So it's like my behavior equals how much I value it. You see in this little picture, it's like, whatever, I don't care if it's clean. This is what maybe someone who doesn't understand what ADHD is like is seeing from the outside. So if no behavior, oh, you must not care. What I would love to shift it to is something that is a little bit more nuanced, a little bit closer to what the actual experience is like. Because what people on the outside don't see is that even this character on the couch, there's a constant flow of thoughts about, I really want to do this, but I can't even get up to do it. So I would say what is more accurate and close to that experience is our behavior is more of a combination of your neurology, how your brain works, times your capacity. You know, how much energy do I have? How much can I make through these difficult things? Times your support, how much external support, partner support, friend support, professional support, even compensating for my own, limitation support. And if any of those is zero, then the behavior doesn't happen. So yeah, I would love to clean and do my laundry. And it seems confusing that I can play a 12-hour board game without lapsing in focus at all. I don't even have to eat because I'm just so locked in. But then when it comes to laundry, I need someone to be there with me. And I'll get to this later, the term. I need someone to body double with me. I need another person around to add the support in. But if I didn't understand this, or y'all weren't hearing this presentation, you might start to think, well, he just doesn't like his house clean. He doesn't care about the laundry. Of course I do. It just is really hard for me to do sometimes. So I hope to shift it to, maybe we're missing something here. Maybe there's a neurology that we're not considering, brain wiring, or maybe I don't have the capacity right now, or maybe I don't have enough support. So I'm going to cover each of those things a little bit more depth here. So some of the things under neurology here is that we have different motivation systems, and that I want to give you all maybe an alternate explanation of ADHD, and then some of the strengths of the ADHD brain and how it's wired. All right, so often how we think about motivation is that it's this one on the left. It's importance-based. If I cared enough about it, if it was personally significant to me, and it is important to someone else that I care about, and I understand the consequences of rewards, I should do it, right? But the more that we try to force our way through that, especially if that's not how our brain is wired, the more we get frustrated with ourselves and start to think, well, why can't I do this? I should be able to do this. And we get down. And what I have found to be more affirming and, again, more helpful is to work with your brain instead of against it. So I use this image here and the acronym PINCH to help remember. I love acronyms, and also alliteration, having the same letter over and over again, helps my brain stick in the information. So I'm going to start with the P, passion and play. If we can infuse meaning, purpose, passion, play into tasks, we can make them more engaging. Gives our brain more dopamine. Interest is finding ways to incorporate your special interests. For me, board gaming or therapy concepts or anything like that into the task to make it more engaging for us. Maybe if you like basketball, instead of putting your lingerie in your basket and that's boring, you can start shooting free throws into the basket to make it more fun. The next one being novelty. It's something new, shiny. It's like, everyone talks about the shiny object with ADHD, but we can use that to our advantage. How can we make this a new experience, even if it's still the same old, same old? Can I listen to it with music this time? Can I try to do it backwards on one foot? You can kind of challenge yourself here, which brings me to the next one so perfectly. The C for competition, challenge, and cooperation. Adding in an element of engagement with other people or making it more difficult or working together can be highly engaging, and it activates those pathways in your brain that keep you engaged. And the last one, which again, you'll probably see later in this presentation, is the one we tend to over rely on, because it's like the only one we found to work, that just kind of came to us over time. We learned from past experience. If I wait till the last minute, I get the anxiety that pushed me to do it, because otherwise it's like, I can't get myself to do it. And even, I'm going to tell myself here, even making this presentation, I sent it over at 4:30 in the morning because I was really excited to do it. And then I just couldn't get myself to do it. And it took me until midnight to start it last night. And, that's just part of how my brain works. Some shortcomings, but there's also going to be some positives from that. I heard this from this speaker, Nick Walker, who has called ADHD the kinetic cognitive style, because ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, is often framed negatively and is seen as something to be fixed. However, because it's part of how our brain is wired, and evolutionarily speaking, it was probably helpful in the past, like when we were hunter and gatherers, to be able to attune to all the things that no one else sees, like the random shift in the grass, or to find new and novel ways to do things. There's a reason it hasn't gone out of style, something selective about it. And instead of characterizing it as a deficit, which of course it has some downsides, as do a lot of things, the kinetic cognitive style better describes how our thought patterns bounce from one thing to another, constantly shifting, processing, and adapting to new information, and it feels like it's going fast. But that also gives some strengths, which I'm about to get to. One of them being that we can create connections that didn't seem possible to other people. And at the same time, that speed at which it was processing and shifting can be overwhelming. I mean, I included this graphic here because, sometimes when people start a story, it feels very linear. They can just go boom, 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 and get to the end. But like me, and I kind of see myself in this one too, even as I start to tell a story, I start going off the rails because my brain is connecting to all these different examples and things that I get reminded of, and then I end up apologizing and they're confused. But what I've learned with working with other ADHDers is that I'm so good at tracking that ADHD storytelling, because that's how my brain works. I'm like, I'm right there with you. Sometimes that linear story, it's not very interesting. So again, my brain, my preference, I like stories that go off the rails because it adds more context and more of you, and I want more of you. All right, so here's some strengths, and I want to also posit here that this is not an exhaustive list. This doesn't apply to everyone. These are some trends I've seen, some things I've seen in myself and in other people, but I can never write an exhaustive list because everyone's brain's slightly different. So some of the things that could show up here: highly flexible and adaptable, being able to multitask, good in crisis. Some of the things I've noticed is that when everyone else is freaking out, someone with ADHD is so calm, and they're get right to the solution, because it's like their nervous system attunes to that highly chaotic environment and they know exactly what to do. They might be more spontaneous or willing to take risks. Like I said before, imaginative, resourceful, innovative thinking, that out of the box, new novel ideas that no one else thinks about. Also, because of that kinetic style, it tends to be easier to track patterns and trends. This might show up like, I can guess the end of the TV show before it even happens, which might frustrate some other people who are watching it with me. But it's like, I see the writing on the wall. My brain's picking up on that. Excuse me. Hyperfocus might be like, for me, that 12-hour board game, I can just sit through and focus the whole entire time. And it's like nothing else in the world exists. And some people look at that and they, of course, envy it. And it can also have the downside of like, I am so hyper-focused on this, I forget to eat or do anything else or take care of myself. So like, double-edged sword there. Also tend to be highly attuned, intuitive, and empathetic. I know lots of ADHD therapists, and it can be a lot on our nervous systems as well, because it's like taking in so much information. And then finally here, being able to see the big picture and multiple perspectives simultaneously. For me, this has been a huge strength in my work with couples, especially being able to hold both or multiple partners' reality that seems to conflict. It helps me so much to be able to sit there in the middle and hold both and get them to meet. All right, so now moving on to the next factor here. I'm going to cover spoon theory, overstimulation, and then executive dysfunction.
Kyle, if you don't mind, while we are not in the next part, we have a lot of comments. I will highlight
Yeah.
mostly all of them.
Let me take a break and answer some.
Yeah. So yeah, we have somebody from Iowa, Nigeria, from the UK, and waiting for an ADHD assessment, by the way. LA, and student studying to be an LMFT. So I believe you can share a lot of experience over here. There is also a feedback
Yep, these are from Dr.
about
Right.
yeah, law student here. Thank you for your feedback regarding xTiles, but for being so open. Yeah, pinch words, by the way, just want to say like a reminder that you'll receive a deck afterwards, after our live session ends, so you will see everything. So there is no need to, remember, but obviously you can remember do so. Willow, my brain likes to create urgency. Yeah, I understand that as well. Um, Urgency is something big. External support for ADHD people, I also believe that's like a body doubling and all this basically means that.
Am I still here?
Yeah, Kyle, I believe we have a short one, but you can go next, and if you have some comments,
Am I still here?
yeah, you're here. Oops. Yeah, we are waiting for Kyle for a couple of minutes. My apologies. While we are waiting, you can share all the questions. We will read them during the session and
Am I back?
as well. Yeah,
Okay, sorry about that.
everything.
I don't know what happened. I just froze.
Yeah, everything's okay. No worries. Yeah, if you have any comments, please share, and I believe we can move forward afterwards.
Before I move on. So I was frozen.
Please say it again. Okay.
I said, did I need to answer any questions when I was frozen? Because I didn't see them.
I believe you can see all of them in from the right. So you have this chat
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
icon. Yeah, you can click and you will see everything we had so far. Yeah.
Sorry, my computer is struggling a little bit here. I'm still wanting to look for out of your brain and not have to cycle through to do time. One person mentioned Dr. Neff. I was going to credit them. I appreciate all the resources they have. I even linked their website at the end. A lot of my graphics are from psychologists. I really love them and their work. Let me see. Looks like someone types here, but again, it's in slides. Shout out to another LMFT and art therapist. That's awesome. we need more people destigmatized. And my grade is lagging again, so I will stop there. But if there's any okay.
Kyle,
Keep
if
going.
if you want to, I can share.
Also, feel free to stop me.
Yeah, if you want, so I can share the deck, and I believe it will be slightly easier for your
Okay, yeah.
Mac, to handle the. Yeah.
Yeah, my
Okay,
laptop
just a
might not
second.
struggle as much. Thank
Yeah. My apologies. Just a second, guys, and we'll
Yeah, I'll stop sharing.
be
You
right
can
there.
take it up.
Yeah. Just a second. Okay, so we are going to talk about capacity. Yeah. Okay, it works. So Kyle, I hope you can see it. You can see our chat as well. We have more comments, by the way. So yeah.
Oh, now it's picking up speed. Okay. I'm not quite seeing the patient yet, but just give it a second. Okay. All right. So it looks like I see it now. Cover spoon theory, overstimulation, and then some executive dysfunction material here. We move on to the next slide. All right. So spoon theory was originally coined by Christine, and I apologize if I don't pronounce this right, Miserandino. It's originally a metaphor for chronic illness. Essentially, she was in a diner with some friends and was trying to explain chronic illness and what that's like to them. She grabbed 12 spoons. She said, imagine that spoons are your energy for the day. You start with 12. And then now tell me how you get through your day. What do you do? And they start to say, well, I wake up in the morning and I make my bed, and she takes away a spoon. I'm like, okay, and then I brush my teeth, and she takes away a spoon. And then I have to get ready for the day and cook breakfast, and she takes away a spoon. The point here being that, especially with sensitive nervous systems or things, nervous systems that get overwhelmed quickly, that are easily excitable, some tasks or activities or sensory environments take away a lot of our energy. So we have to be a little bit more picky about what we do, when, and how long. Applying this to ADHD, it might look a little different. And I say it is sometimes spiky because, again, if I'm comparing it for myself here, it's a little confusing to see me be able to focus on a board game for 12 hours long, just straight through. But then it's hard for me to write a clinical note sometimes that takes 5 minutes after a session I just had. And it's like, well, why can you focus for 12 hours but not 5 minutes? Because for some things, especially things related to our executive functioning, how we think, plan, decide, and regulate ourselves, it can take more effort. It doesn't come intuitively. Then when we're engaged with our interests, for me, board gaming, like, it is sometimes rejuvenating, but also doesn't take as much energy. So being aware of what spends your spoons and what refills your spoon is going to be helpful for you as you make your way through your life. So you're not constantly spending spoons and then feeling exhausted and then being like, well, where did it all go? And go to the next one. All right, so overstimulation, a way to think about this one is inability to focus, but that we don't have a filter. It's too much on at the same time. So if you can play the video for us, it shows a nice example.
Okay, just a second, because I believe a slight lag we have. So I do, and slightly after you see it. Just a second.
All you have to do is listen to what I'm saying and try and focus on it. Sounds easy, right? I'm going to tell you the 5 reasons why people with ADHD can find listening a bit tough. Number 1, poor sensory filtering. Neurotypical brains are really good at filtering out sounds that are irrelevant. For ADHD people, they can struggle with that. 2, difficulty prioritising sounds. ADHD brains don't naturally prioritise the thing that's right in front of us that we're meant to be listening to. 3, hyper-awareness. Sometimes ADHD people have a kind of hyper-vigilance of their environment and the sounds around them, making it almost impossible to tune out of their environment. 4, working memory issues. A simple means Now imagine being told, why aren't you listening to me? Can you just focus a little bit harder? That's what it feels like to have ADHD and be out in the wild.
Today is one of those days where I woke up and I
All right. I know that it seemed like it was a little choppy there, so I don't know if that added or took away from that experience. But what I'm hoping people who maybe aren't familiar with ADHD, or people who are, start to feel when we're listening to this, is it is so hard to pay attention, because like I can't even discern what is happening when I'm hearing so much external stimuli, and even it cutting in and out. Is like, oh, I can't even stay focused on what she's saying. So starting to identify for yourself your own sensory triggers. For some people, it's competing noise. For other people, it's like tag on the back of my shirt, and now I can't even hear, and now I'm feeling my socks and my shoes. Like that's a lot of information to be processing. No wonder we get overstimulated. I included in some of the resources at the end that we'll send to y'all some of the stuff from Dr. Neff about identifying your sensory triggers that can be helpful for y'all. So, but I'll skip on that for now, and we can move on to the next one.
Okay, and yeah, sorry guys for such experience. Yeah, but you understand.
I appreciate someone saying if they hadn't turned the sound down on the video, it would have been overwhelming at the sound it was for me. It was really hard to sit with. Oh, yeah, I think my internet does have ADHD too. I think that's probably right. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so executive functioning, like I said before, it covers a lot of things, but it tends to be most of our prefrontal cortex, the front part of our brain's job in shifting focus, completing tasks, starting tasks, paying attention, prioritizing. What do I do first? Planning ahead, following multi-step directions, time management, remembering details, understanding different, and organizing, and then even regulating your own emotions. All those things take mental effort, and this is as a real-time demonstration of sensory overload, someone says in the comments. And it's really hard to do all of these things when we're being overstimulated. And also the fact that like this is an inherent struggle with ADHD. Our brains are wired differently, and this has not come naturally. So to put it in a different way, I'd love for y'all to think about you and I standing in front of a you see that the burner's red hot, or you see the flame. And I ask you, you put your hand right on the hot stove. Can you do that for me? My guess is your answer would be, no, I'm not going to do that, Kyle. Don't want to burn myself. But I would say to you, but you have the physical capability of doing this. Why don't you do it? Like, well, my brain won't let me. Even if I tried, I'm not going to let my hand touch that. And even if I did, I would immediately pull it away. Us, with these executive functioning tasks, even the easiest ones to other people, folding laundry for me, it's like my brain won't let me. Doesn't mean that you can't ever develop the skills you need to get around that, but sometimes we need to even just start at, this feels like a hot stove to me. and not shame ourselves for that. All right, we can go on to the next one. All right, so last thing here, I suppose. So compensatory strategies are ways that we can make the hot stove so hot, or turn off the burner, or put an oven mitt on so that it's not so overwhelming and that we can actually do the things that we're wanting to do. One of those is also seeking professional help, but I'm going to show you all some examples of how I use xTiles to help my brain do some of the hard stuff. All right, so there's generally 5 types of compensatory strategies. It's changing the environment, either physically or socially, modifying the task, enlisting the help of others, finding a motivator, and creating a plan. All of these also come with some executive functioning that we need to do, but also helps us. So yes, it is difficult. It also helps you in the long run. And again, the more information on this, it can be provided at the end. But I'd love if you show the video, and hopefully the internet doesn't glitch out this time.
Yeah, just a second.
Hey, buddy. So a lot of people watched our video on hot stove theory. I'm sorry, does that say 1,000,000? So I thought we could brainstorm some ideas on how to turn off hot stoves to help people with their willpower. Floating words. I don't know if I like this. Remember, we're just spitballing here, so folks can pick and choose whichever methods work for them. Our brains are very unique, every single one of them, so different methods will work for some people and not for others. Got it. So take what works for me and don't beat myself up if it doesn't. Idea number 1. Body doubling. Sounds like sci-fi. It really just means having someone hang out with you while you do the task, because having company can make things more fun and therefore easier, but also sometimes just being observed kind of pressures you into doing the task. I'm an introvert though, and I don't want somebody in my messy room. Thank you. That's fine. Digital hangouts work too. You can do a video chat or a regular phone call. You can even just text your friends and be like, hey, if I haven't texted you in an hour saying that I've cleaned my room, you have my full permission to yell at me. Well, my friends would love that. Method number 2, make understimulating tasks more stimulating. Hey, where'd the cat go? Because our brain sometimes sees a boring or tedious task as a hot stove. So for those tasks, you need to up the amount of stimulation that your brain is feeling. So you can listen to a podcast or an audiobook or music even. You could put a TV show on in the background. Just something to increase the sensory inputs. Think of the YouTube videos I could watch.
We don't judge.
Kicked out again? Am I back?
Yeah. Everything's good. Yeah, we can hear you and see as well.
Cool. I'm sorry, did the video end?
Yeah, the video end. Yeah.
Okay. I do think that my computer's having some processing issues now. We can move to the next one though. So here is one method that I personally use to help externalize, take it out of my brain, and help me organize tasks. The 2 questions you can ask yourself: is this urgent? Is this important? For some people, this is just second nature. You can just move things into different areas. I know what to do first. For me, that's not. So I need to slow down and be compassionate with my 2 questions. This Eisenhower matrix kind of intersects the urgency and the importance. If it's important and urgent, we're going to do that one first. You do it now, and use your strategies to help you do it. If it's but important, we're probably going to do that one later. You can schedule for a time in the future, like using the date function for the tasks on xTiles. If it's urgent but it's not important, then maybe we delegate that to someone else or defer it to later, extend the deadline. And then the last one is if it's not important and not urgent, let's just get that out of our brain. We can write it down somewhere. We can put it into an idea chart in xTiles, and it's not going to go anywhere, but we can at least get it out so it's not getting in the way anymore. Or you can just delete it. My audio is a little glitchy too. That's a bummer.
Yeah, sometimes it is glitchy, but most of the time it's okay, to be honest.
Yeah. And I appreciate someone saying, I often struggle with priority, even with Matrix. I know this can be really, really difficult, even with the tools. And we're just kind of how's the audio right now?
That's fine. Yeah,
Okay.
it's
You still can understand me?
it's okay.
Got it.
I believe. Yeah. Everybody can understand you, but sometimes it's a bit laggy. Yeah, but I believe the information itself, it's more valuable, and sometimes the quality of it. Yeah, I believe we can live with it. Whatever. Yeah.
I'll keep doing the best I can here. So this is a screenshot from a planner that I made for myself that I use daily, and I gave you some examples that I kind of told on myself by the time on the schedule there when I was making this. But the first step I try to take myself through is realistically assessing my capacity. How many spoons do I have today? And that's the first question. How much energy and motivation did I start with today? Yesterday for me, it was none. So what is my realistic capacity today? Can I do the bare minimum? Can I do a few things? Or do I feel like I hit that spike and I can do all the things? We all have those days too. And I do my best to ride that sail without overdoing it. And so if I can just boil it down to one thing for y'all, if I can only get one thing done today, what is that? For me, it was the xTiles presentation yesterday, and I got it done. It really fell to the bottom of the list for me, and I was having a hard time doing it, even though I really wanted to do it, and I was so excited to be here. And then some other important things to consider. How will I know when I'm close to my limit? For me, I wrote a couple things. My chest starts to feel tight. I notice I'm breathing fast, and I'm not engaged with the thing I'm trying to prioritize. So instead of making myself feel bad in that moment, what can I do when I reach that limit? For me, I need some pressure. So I grab a weighted blanket, or I need to move my body. So I go outside, or I take a break. It's not going to really serve me well if I am continue to try to do the thing when it's a hot stove. I need to take a step back so that I can let it cool off, or try to tackle it from a new angle. So then move over to the step 2 part, prioritizing and accepting those limits that we just outlined. I like to list the risk to what I'm trying to get done, especially like each day, but you can make this like a, recurring thing. For me, I was doing it on my computer, and I know that YouTube is very alluring to me, and I want to go watch disc golf content. So I list out there, this is a risk that I need to be aware of. That's going to interrupt my process here. And then I also want to include something on this that reminds me of what I'm working towards. So that it reminds my brain I am working towards doing something, not just to complete it, but I get something out of it. I wanted to go rollerblade. And then I took all these things that I wanted to do, and I organized that Eisenhower matrix to the best of my ability, also leaving some compassion that I could have got it wrong, and they can also still shift. It's not locked in forever. So my first thing I need to do was finish this presentation. At 3 o'clock in the morning, I can't service my car. I can make an appointment, sure, but it's not going to really make a difference if I do it at 3 a.m. versus at 8 a.m. tomorrow. So I can do that later. I would love to go to Greece. I have no plans to do it anytime soon. So I can defer that one later, or I can say to my partner, can you maybe start looking at some places in Greece? I really hope she does, but I don't think it's happening anytime soon. And then the last thing was like, I could check Facebook and see what's going on in local communities, but that's not helpful, and it's not important, and it's not urgent. So I can just put that on the delete list or move it to a different day. And the last thing that I do my best to remind myself of as well is after we have all these tasks on here, we need to build it into our schedule. So that's why I include my schedule on the right side. So as I'm looking at my tasks, it also gets repeated on my schedule, and I can actually slot them into spots in the day. One of the hard parts about ADHD, at least for me, is having a hard time understanding how long things take. It's called time blind. I have a tool that I use in my office here. It's a visual clock, because if I don't see this, I don't know how long I've taken. I will talk over, and I'm running into someone else's session. This is something I do to kind of visually see the time. And yeah, someone mentions as a strategy here, using Hank Green Focus Friend. That's a great one. I also have an app called Brick that helps me to block apps that distract me and I unlock. But where I was a second ago, you saw my kinetic brain just jumped off there. Yeah, putting it into your schedule and building in rest too. It's easy for me to get going and then forget I need to eat, I need to rest, I need to take a break. So I'm not serving anyone so well if I'm using all my spoons without putting a couple back in the drawer. Figure out what you need to do. Spoons back so you can keep. And you can move on to the next one. The next portion of this scheduler here, these are again some examples I put in here. I listed some of the compensatory strategies that work well for me. You're gonna have to do some trial and error to figure out what works for you. I love body doubling on hard tasks. That means having someone else around, even if they're not doing what you're doing. Sometimes I just have to ask my wife, hey, can you sit in the same room as me, crochet or do whatever you're doing, or you're cooking and I will do the laundry because I need someone around. Or I call a friend and say, hey, do you mind FaceTiming me as I'm doing my notes? Because I just need someone around. It makes it easier to do sometimes. Also listening to music or a podcast and taking breaks to move my body, or bringing fidgets with me so that I'm continuing to stimulate my brain in a way that is not distracting me. Right now I have these little fidget balls from Specs, which is a cool website you guys should check out. And then the next slide I'm going to have here is also a dopamine menu, which I'll get to in a second. That's another one I use. Can you go back one? I'm sorry. Didn't mean to tempt you to move on to the next one so fast.
Yeah, sorry.
The brain dump to with that kinetic style of my brain, it likes to jump in different directions. It's easy to get pulled away by those things. So I try to put them on this brain dump so that I don't forget them. I'm not worried about forgetting them, but they're somewhere and out of the way now. I list some daily goals that I have for myself just to remind myself. Sometimes I need the visual cue. And one thing I want to point out on the bottom here is that what I hope to instill as part of this presentation too is sometimes we need to limits, and that doesn't mean that we don't value those things. I really want my partner to know that they're special to me, and my brain to remember that. I need to remind myself. That doesn't mean I don't care. It means that I need to use what tools I have to do the things I care about. So if anything, I care more because I take the time to use things that work for my brain. Hopefully that's making sense. I listed a few reminders to myself. I need to remind myself to touch grass sometimes. And then I put pinch on there. So when things get hard, I can remind myself, am I doing this the way that I was taught or the way that works for my brain? You can move on to the next one now. And then this is just a dopamine menu that I put at the bottom of the planner. Essentially what a dopamine menu is our brain tends to find the easiest source of dopamine because that's what we're always lacking. Part of ADHD is a regulation of the dopamine system, which is what motivates us, release of dopamine. So having a visual reminder of here's some things I can get a quick dopamine hit from that's not my phone, that's not going to distract me, or change my environment, or things I can do to engage with things I really want to do. I don't just fall into this habit of getting the quickest, easiest dopamine. And I'll let y'all look over that another time. And there's also a resource provided there as well. Listen. You move on to the next one. Is brain dumping ideas. The first one was for tasks. Ooh, I think we went too far. There we go. My ideas are not in task form yet. They're just like kind of this rough idea. And I also would like to categorize already using that matrix. Is this important or is this urgent? So when I do make it into a task, I don't have to think about it. And I put 4 categories here. You can put any as you want. I did, work, home, hobbies, and relationships. Notice last night I put go to sleep, and as an example, how to do a backflip. And you can just using xTiles. I really like the form thing. Where it auto feeds into this board, and then I can just see all my ideas organized by category, which helps my brain organize information because it does something very chaotic, and it helps me with my inner world. So that's how I use that part. You can go on to the next one. All right. Last thing here, support is seeking professional help. I try to include as much as I can here as far as forces, because I really believe in not gatekeeping. I want everyone to have the help that they need. And there's also a time that we have to recognize that extra help. Even though I'm an ADHD therapist, I also have ADHD and I have my own therapist. And I'm proud of that. I think everyone should have a therapist, to be honest with you. And especially if you're struggling with ADHD, I would encourage you to, as you're looking around for a therapist, try to find a neuro-affirming therapist. So they're not trying to fix your ADHD, they're trying to work with you and help you work with your. So I listed some resources here. ndtherapist.com is a directory to find neuro-affirming therapists. And then, as someone mentioned in the chat before, Dr. Neff is phenomenal. They put out bunches of free and paid content on worksheets and graphics like I used in today's slideshow, and that's at neurodivergent-insights.com. And just a reminder that everybody needs help. And again, including me, I'm trained in this. And it's not a failure from you if you need help. Last point I'll touch on here is the medication management. That's a personal choice. And for me, helpful to get diagnosed with ADHD, and to let y'all in a little bit, I diagnosed when I was 25 in grad school. And it took me that long to figure it out because I just thought, well, I did well in school. Well, maybe I just take longer. Maybe I'm just a procrastinator. Maybe I'm just sensitive. But it took, all of the things I was doing that were masking my ADHD to finally hit a breaking point where I was like, there's something else happening. Part of my process, right? And ADHD medication can be one of those helps. It's not the only one. Therapy can be one of those helps, not the only one. Tends to be the best when they're combined, but obviously that's a personal choice. There's stimulants and non-stimulants for ADHD. There's dietary things. There's helping your body regulate through movement. You got lots of options. But if you're really struggling, I would suggest getting assessed and then maybe talking to a doctor about it. I'm not a professional. I'm a mental health professional. So that's where my expertise ends. And just even this presentation, even though informative and gave you all lots of resources and all that, this is not medical advice, nor is it therapy. You're gonna have to get help for that outside of this presentation, but I'm happy to help get you there. You can move on to the next one. All right. Just to summarize all of your brain's not broken. It's just wired differently. And I would love for y'all to take away, if it's just this one thing from this presentation, shift how you think about your motivation system and work with your brain rather than against it. Think about that PINCH acronym: play and passion, interest, novelty, competition, challenge, cooperation, and hurry, which I'm sure we're all very familiar with, but we need to motivate ourselves. And then identify areas that you struggle with and strategies to help yourself work with your brain, like xTiles. And then consider your sensory needs and capacity, and be realistic with yourself. Can I actually do this in this state right now with the energy I have? And if not, maybe we need to pick a different day to do it. Then remember that how your brain is wired, it also gives you some strengths. And figure out what those are for you, into them. And then if what has happened now is too much for you to handle, it is not a failure of character or on your part as a person to seek extra help. And thank you all for coming. Hopefully I can answer questions without it glitching more. But I appreciate you all being here and inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kyle, and thank you for sharing. By the way, we also have one more slide. So when we talked about a bonus in the very beginning, so you saw a couple of screenshots from Kyle's template. So we have this template in our template gallery. So I will show you how to access it. So if you have a paid subscription in xTiles, you will get it for free. If you have your free account, we have a discount, so you can grab this this template and like a premium subscription as well. So a template will be a bonus. We decided to make the template itself a paid one. I mean, not like a paid one, but a premium one, because we also want to support Kyle. And if you use it, I will show you how to use it. If you use it, we will definitely support Kyle, his practice, and everything he does. So, as promised, I will share how to access it. And like, as I said, it's a real story because I outreached Kyle as a user, not as a therapist. So there is a couple of questions, and after a short demo, we will cover them. So just give me a second. I will share my daily page in my planner, and you will see how to access the template. So what do you need to do? You need to go to the planner. You can access it in the left corner over here, or in the top. It will say my day, my week, or my month. So you can go to my day, for example. That's the place you need to go actually. And when you go inside, you need to choose like a daily page inside. And yeah, by the way, Kyle, a lot of appreciation. So I'm inside my day. So I can go to templates section. And the very first template we have, it is like a, like some people say, like a signature something. So in our case, it's Kyle's template. So once again, if you already have a paid subscription, you can use it without any additional cost. If you have a free account, you can use our promotion code for a discount and then to use this template as well. And as Kyle showed everything, you have 3 steps. You have your schedule, you have your tasks, you have your energy audit. How do you feel yourself today? You have your brain dump section, strategies, dopamine menu as well. So super helpful in my personal opinion, at least. And yeah, that's it. So Kyle, please, I believe you have a lot of support and questions, so go ahead.
Yeah, let me see if I can get the ones that I've missed. Get them. I saw someone say, so I use it for planning. I use it for my as well as a private practice, and I use it to help me organize all of my tasks. But there, networking. I have a whole using thing I use for the brain dump thing, and actually show you. 3D printing is one of my hobbies, and I printed a QR code like this, my keychain that links to an xTiles form, and then they fill out their information, and then I don't have to put their information into a spreadsheet. I just get all of the referral information that I need, and I can filter it by who's available at what time, if they take insurance, if they're online or in person, and I can help connect clients to other therapists that way, and it saves me a lot of effort. I also, someone mentioned there's tasks in so many places all the time. That's my favorite part about xTiles personally, is that even though I might separate them out and categorize them like notebooks or different planning areas or categories, they all populate to one place. So when I check them off in one spot, they all disappear. And I can also filter it by what am I trying to work on? And then it pops up all of the tasks for that category. So I really like that, because I did have the same problem when I had a sticky note over here and it's in a notebook over there, and it just all gets lost because I don't know where they are. I appreciate someone giving love for my shirt. This is my favorite shirt. I was running low on sleep and also energy today, and I was like, I gotta put on my comfort shirt. This is my favorite, and I thought it was fitting for today's presentation. And let's see if I can get anything else. Again, computers. Finch for self-care, also great. I love. Let's see what I hear. Appreciate everyone being here. Someone asked, does this only work in my planner? I'm pretty sure that it works in other places, but I could be wrong.
Sure it's you can apply
template, but
yeah, it's a planner template, but you can apply it and select all the tiles and to copy it into a separate place. But I believe we will move this template into our template gallery as well, so it will be in both places, inside my planner and on the home page we have inside the template gallery as well.
And then someone asked, I have more context or a link for the dopamine menu. I believe that's being sent in the resources bundle of stuff that I hope to get to eventually. No
yeah, you should already. Yeah, you should already receive.
I don't know if I'm missing anything else. You see, I'm missing.
Just a lot of thank yous, and from my side, I believe we are already an hour-long session, but still we have a lot of people with us. So I just wanna say thank you for being so open-minded and sharing your personal experience, not only with xTiles, but like your ADHD story as well. And from my side as well, I super missed all of you guys, and my apologies for not making like live sessions. We will have live sessions every week like we did before. And the next week we'll talk about our extension, a web clipper that Kyle also has. I'll just go through some amazing parts where you can build your like life OS, and how to close all the 50 tabs in your browser thanks to the extension we have, as it's like a spoiler, let's say. So yeah, thank you all. Thanks a lot, Kyle. Thank you, Dwayne, for your support, and yeah, a lot of comments, a lot of support to you, Kyle, as well. I believe maybe we had some distortions and stuff like that. Everything was good enough and even better. So I enjoyed the session a lot. So thank you so much. Thank you, Kyle. A link to the template, you can access it inside your
Thank you.
My Planner templates. Thank you, Willow, as well. The code, the promotion
Everyone,
code
take care.
is
Take care.
thanks. Thank you so much. Thank you. A lot of comments. I can't access all of them. Thank you, Willow. Thank you so much. Thank you both. Thank you as well. Thank you for being with us for like more than an hour already. And yeah, I believe that's it. Kyle, thank you so much. I believe next time, if you want to, and I hope we will have next time, it will be even better. And thank you all. Thank you so much. And please go to bed not at 4 a.m.
Yeah, I think I have a short here.
Yeah, thanks. Okay, thank you all. See you next time. See you next
I'm
week
gonna
at
take care
least.
of myself.
Thank you, Kyle, again.
I hope.
Yeah, take care. Thank you so much. A lot of comments, and I don't want to miss all of them. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, bye all. Thank you so much, and I see you next Wednesday.